Yo, what's good, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? B Marsh with another boxing video. So this my breakdown and prediction for this cruiserweight fight in this World Boxing Super Series tournament. This fight I believe is going to be in Germany. Yes, I believe it's going to be in Germany, and that's between former champion and WBO champion and a long-time staple at the cruiserweight division, Marco Huck from Germany versus Aleksandr Usyk from Kazakhstan. And before I get into the video, I gotta say thank you, Richard Schaefer. You know what I mean? Richard Schaefer, when he's participating and involved in boxing, boxing is at a better place. I distinctively remember 2013 when Golden Boy, when Richard Schaefer was with Golden Boy and them, and they moved over to the Showtime. And I remember that remarkable banner year that Showtime had when they brought their stable over with Al Heyman fighters over the Showtime, and that was a wonderful year of boxing. And to be honest, man, Showtime ever since, man, they've been running boxing. You know what I mean? They've had the upper hand over HBO in boxing. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this breakdown and prediction. Now you see this guy Marco Huck, man. Like I said, he was a long-time staple. He's a long-time staple in the cruiserweight division. I remember this guy was about to break Johnny Nelson's record of most consecutive title defenses till he ran into Glowacki. You know, and that fight was an awesome fight, 2015 fight of the year. Yet again, that fight was on PBC, the Al Heyman fight, and that fight ain't involved two brothers, you know. And I remember when the usual suspects used to hate on the PBC, and you know, basically they reasoning, although they wouldn't say it publicly, was basically that the PBC is filled with all these African American and black fighters, and they preferred to watch the other channels with HBO who are gassing up the European fighters, you know, like the Triple Gs and the Lomachenkos and the Kovalev and these kind of characters, okay? But I always gave him the example of guys like Aleksandr Usyk and Mark Glowacki, you know what I mean? Two guys from Eastern Europe, and these guys got a shot to fight on the PBC, and they weren't the only guys. I remember seeing fellas like Kohei Kono and the Komita kid from Japan having an awesome fight on the PBC. I remember seeing Nathan Cleverly and fucking Fonfora having a great fight on the PBC. So, you know, when people would hate on the PBC, you already know why they hate it, because of who runs the show, and that's Al Heyman, you know what I'm saying? But back to this prediction, you know, that fight with Marco Huck and Glowacki was an awesome fight, you know. That fight, I didn't know nothing about Glowacki. I knew everything I could about the man, Marco Huck, you know, man. I seen him fight Ofar Falabi at least 4 times. Stopped him in the last time they fought. He's fought the first loss of his career was to fellas like Steve Cunningham. He even went and challenged himself for a heavyweight title fight versus Aleksandr Povetkin when he had a WBA regular title. He's beaten guys like Firat. He fought Firat Arslan twice. Beat guys like what's the other guy? Denis Lebedev. Got a victory over Denis Lebedev. So this guy's done it all when it comes to boxing at the cruiserweight division. And his last fight told me everything I need to know about where he is currently at this stage of his career, you know. He fought Maurice Breedis, the WBC champion out of Latvia, cruiserweight division. The guy Tony Belly didn't want no parts of. And in that fight, in my opinion, you know, I did pick Breedis to win the fight, but, you know, I thought Marco Huck looked really lethargic in that fight. You know, the man looked like, you know, he's, you know, with these younger cruiserweights, he just can't hang, to be honest, you know what I mean? Maurice Breedis was just a more effective pressure fighter, who in my opinion, got very good power. And Marco Huck just wasn't, you know, kept his hands in his pocket, you know what I mean? And that's actually how I see this particular fight going. You see, a guy like Aleksandr Usyk, in my opinion, is going to outbox Marco Huck, you know what I'm saying? Marco Huck outpunch output will not be equivalent to what Aleksandr Usyk will throw back at him, you know what I mean? Not to mention the fact Aleksandr Usyk is a guy who's a southpaw, and a guy who's very nimble on his feet for a guy who's about 6'3", you know what I mean? And I think Aleksandr Usyk is going to put on a boxing clinic, you know what I'm saying? In his last fight, Aleksandr Usyk made it a little difficult when he fought the kid Michael Hunter. And Michael Hunter, although the Michael Hunter kid had only like 12 fights or 13 fights coming into that fight with Aleksandr Usyk, And same for Aleksandr Usyk. He's a guy with about 11 or 12 fights in his career. I think he's 12-0 with 10 KOs. I just thought that Aleksandr Usyk was much better than Michael Hunter, but he made them fight more difficult because he was more trying to please the crowd. You know what I'm saying? At that MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland, on that all Ukrainian card, he was trying to entertain the crowd, and he got away from his technical boxing skills. You know what I mean? You see, I seen the way he fought. What's the guy's name? Thabiso Muchunu, the guy from South Africa. You know what I mean? He let Aleksandr Usyk. He himself is not a high punch output fighter. You know what I mean? But he will. He's a slow starter, and he's going to take his time to figure out a fighter before he gets it in, and that's exactly what he did with Muchunu, you know what I mean? But with Michael Hunter, you could tell he was trying to get him up out of there from early, you know what I'm saying? And the fight could have been stopped earlier, you know what I mean? Because them fellas, Michael Hunter did get his head snapped back. He had the rubberneck, you know what I mean? And it was a good, entertaining fight, but I thought Aleksandr Usyk took more punishment than he should, you know what I'm saying? But maybe that's just a testament of the fighters he fights, you know what I mean? Michael Hunter is an American fighter, and Aleksandr Usyk is more, usually fights these European fighters, you know what I'm saying? And the American style maybe gave him a couple issues that he wasn't prepared for. But I think with Marco Huck being a European fighter such as himself, I think it's going to be something he's more familiar with. Marco Huck, in my opinion, is going to be gun shy. He ain't going to be able to pull the trigger, while this guy Aleksandr Usyk will just pepper him with the jab and the left hands, you know what I'm saying? He'll probably break Marco Huck down to the body, to have Marco Huck being very reluctant to throw any punches, you know what I mean? He's going to be tucking in his elbows, in my opinion, so he can guard his rib cage. And for that fact, it's almost going to be a fight like Chris Eubanks Jr. versus King Arthur Abraham, you know what I mean? I just think the younger guy is just more equipped for what Marco Huck will be able to bring to the table. Not to mention that Aleksandr Usyk is actually the favorite to win this tournament. You know what I mean? You check it. There's very many good fighters in this tournament who could actually come out on top. You know, but the great thing about this tournament, there will be a champion with 3 to 4 belts. You know what I'm saying? Coming out this tournament. Denis Lebedev is the only champion who's not participating in this, but I do believe he is. I think he is on an injured reserve, as in if somebody's injured in this tournament, then there will be replacements. And I think Denis Lebedev and guys like Yuri Kalenga and even Ilungu Makabu, them 2 African fellas from Congo, they also could be last-minute replacements. But I think Aleksandr Usyk will outbox him, something similar to what he did to Glowacki, you know what I mean? And we're going to see the difference of how Marco Huck went to hell and back with the man Glowacki, and Aleksandr Usyk made Glowacki look very pedestrian, you know what I'm saying? And I think Aleksandr Usyk will win this fight, you know, I would say by stoppage, you know, but I'm not too sure if he does have that pop, you know what I mean, to knock out elite fighters, you know. He's 12-0 with 10 KOs, but most of them fighters he beat on his way up were guys who weren't world-class fighters. And Marco Huck has been on that world-class elite level. And I just think this fight will go distance, you know what I'm saying? Aleksandr Usyk will win a unanimous decision, maybe 8 rounds to 4, maybe even wider. Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. Let me know who y'all think gonna win this fight. I got Aleksandr Usyk via unanimous decision, 8 rounds to 4, maybe wider. Thanks for listening. Leave your thoughts and comments. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Peace.